In today's session of B2A series, that is Basics to Advanced, specially targeting NHES 2025, we are going to start a new chapter of chemistry and very interesting chapter, that is periodic table, right? Periodic classification of elements. So in today's lecture, we'll be uncovering, disclosing the history behind the modern periodic table, the arrangement of elements that we have today. So without wasting time, guys, let us start today's session. So I'm your Nidhi ma'am. A very good evening to all of you. I hope you all are badhiya, ekdam mast, ekdam dhinchak. And let's start today's session, which is on the history of periodic table, right? Yes, you guys, I hope everyone am audible and visible clearly. Yes, okay, let's start with the today's session. So before starting the session, let me again remind you something really important, that this B2A series, if you are following this series B2A and targeting your NHES 2025, so very important to note, from 13th May onwards, this series we are shifting to our another new channel, that is Vedantu Science Olympiad. So if you haven't subscribed it yet, so make sure that you are a subscriber of this channel. Not just this series, guys, there is a lot more that we are going to give you and we have been giving you on that channel, especially for Science Olympiad aspirants, right? So guys, make sure Vedantu Science Olympiad channel you are subscriber, right? Okay, let us start today's session, which is on periodic classification of elements, that is the beautiful periodic table. How elements are arranged and make this beautiful arrangement. So there is a history behind it indeed, guys. Okay, let me first ask you some questions, interesting question based on elements. So which is the element that melts in your hand? Yes, which is the element that melts in your hand? Indeed, it is gallium. Gallium has such a low melting point that the heat of your hand is sufficient to melt it, right? So indeed, the answer is gallium. Let's see the next question, guys. Element with the highest melting point, and I'm sure this element is present in your household. Element with the highest melting point. Yes. Indeed, it is tungsten. That is why it is used in bulb filaments, right? Tungsten, symbol is W, is the element with highest melting point. Let's move on to the next question. First element artificially produced, which was produced artificially. Any guesses, guys? Anyone who can tell me which was the first element which was produced? Yes, it was technetium. Technos is a Greek word which means artificial. So technetium got its name from there only. So technetium is that element which was artificially produced. Okay, can you tell me, out of all the elements, so many elements we have, which is the rarest element on earth? The rarest out of all, which is the rarest? Yes, which is possibly the rarest on earth? It is astatine, astatine, which is, observed to be just 1 gram on earth, right? So the rarest element on earth is astatine 18. Okay, now which is the most poisonous metal? And I have made a short on this on the another channel that I was talking about, Vedantu Science Olympiad channel. There is an interesting short on this. Most poisonous element is polonium. So if you haven't checked that, short yet, do check that short, because there's a lot more information about this polonium, which is the most deadliest poisonous element, right? Okay, element that can escape Earth's gravity. Which can escape Earth's gravity? It is helium. Helium is so light that it can, escape the Earth's gravity and reach to the space. That is helium. So we have so many interesting elements, right? So it was long back when like new elements have been discovered. So the scientists, the chemists, they thought like every other day we are finding a new elements, and with that element we have so many compounds which are being synthesized. Each element has different properties, so it is almost impossible to remember all those elements, their properties, their behavior, their reactions, and the compounds they form. Then the scientists thought there must be an arrangement of these elements which is easy to understand, memorize. By knowing the arrangement, we can know the properties of the elements. So it was declared that, oh please, this is invited. Everyone is invited to bring an arrangement of elements that is easy to understand, memorize, so that the study of elements, their compound, their properties can become more systematic. Right? So many scientists contributed. What we see today, a periodic table. I'm sure all of you must have seen the periodic table, right guys? All of you. Yes, that arrangement has a history behind it, right? So there's a long story how that beautiful table came up, right? So it all started with Daubernier. Daubernier was the first person who arranged these elements. And how did he arrange the elements known at that time? In the group of 3. He distributed the elements in a group of 3, right? So triad, right? And the 3 elements in a group, they have similar property. And how did he group the elements? Suppose he put 3 elements in the group, right? For example, he put 3 elements A, B, C in the group. That means the average of atomic mass of A and C, the first and third element of the group. If you take the average of atomic masses of first and third element, that gives you the atomic mass of the central element, right? That is M2. So for B, if you need to calculate the molar mass, atomic mass of B, you are just supposed to take the arithmetic mean of the atomic masses of A and C. So it was long back, that time the property that was known about the elements is their atomic masses, right? Yes. So he make group of triads, right? He put elements in a group of 3. So of course this was the arrangement given by Daubernier, and we call it law of triads. But he couldn't arrange all the elements known at that time according to this arrangement, right? This was one of the major drawbacks. And in some cases, he put 3 elements which are having almost nearly the same atomic masses. So it is very obvious, if 3 elements, they are having the same atomic mass, you take the mean, arithmetic mean of any 2, you will get the atomic mass of the third, right? Because they all have the same masses. So because of these shortcomings in his arrangement, Daubernier's law of triads got rejected, right? Yes, so these were the, limitations, or you can say the drawbacks of Daubernier's law of triads, where he put elements in a group of 3 according to their atomic masses, right? Yes. For example, he put lithium, sodium and potassium in a group, right? So, lithium, sodium and potassium. If the atomic mass of lithium and potassium is taken and it is divided by 2, the mean of lithium and potassium atomic mass, that is 7 plus 39 by 2, you will get 23. That is the atomic mass of middle element, that is the sodium, right? So that was Daubernier's law of triads. Now, because his law of triads got rejected, there is another scientist which I will say is a music lover. That was Newlands. So he gave law of octaves, right? So octa, what stands for? 8. I hope you all know octa means 8. So he arranged elements according to their increasing atomic masses. As I already told you that time, atomic mass is something which is known for the elements, right? So he observed that every 8th element, when he arranged element according to their increasing atomic masses, he observed every 8th element has similar properties as that of first, right? So in music, right? Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. Again the 8th sir is sa. First and 8th, they are similar. The both are sa. Similarly, so when the elements are arranged by Newland in increasing atomic mass order, every 8th element has similar property to that of first. You can have a look at the arrangement, right? So he arranged elements like this. You can see lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and then sodium. After lithium, sodium is the eighth element. So lithium, sodium has similar property. Now then potassium, right? This arrangement indeed is a good arrangement, but Newland could not arrange elements, heavy elements specifically according to this Saregama Padhanisa, right? So till calcium he was able to arrange the elements, but beyond that this arrangement failed. He couldn't, place elements like iron and all in this arrangement. When later on noble gases were discovered, the inert gases which do not react, he was unable to put them in this arrangement. So these were again the drawbacks of Newland's law of octave. So this arrangement of element also got rejected, guys. Now then there is a scientist who was Luther Meyer, right? Luther Meyer, he gave a graph. So what he did, Luther Meyer curve, what he did, he plotted graph between atomic volume and atomic weight of the elements, right? So he got this type of curve. You can see the peaks, mountain like curve, ranges like mountain ranges. Atomic volume of element versus atomic weight, right? So in this kind of curve, in this graph, he plotted a graph. He had a different approach. So he, made a graph of elements, allocate the position to elements depending upon their atomic volume and atomic weight. After joining the points, you got this kind of graph. And in this graph, you can see the peaks, the maximas are occupied by alkaline, the maximas, these peaks, they are occupied by alkaline metals, lithium, sodium, potassium. So alkaline metals, they are occupying the peaks or the maxima in the curve, right? Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, they are alkaline metals. Yes. And where the curve is ascending, they are halogens. So halogens got these positions in the curve. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So halogens. And D block element, transition elements, right? They are at the minima. They are the transition elements. So the transition elements, they occupy, transition elements, we will learn all these terms, right? Transition elements are D block elements in the minima. Yes. And the descending part of the curve, here there are alkaline earth metal group 2 elements, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. So similar kind of elements which have similarity in property, they occupy similar kind of position in this curve, right? So indeed it is a good curve. What drawback it can have? Those few, elements, they couldn't be placed in this proper, the curve. But what was the purpose? What was the purpose, guys? What was the purpose? The purpose was to find an arrangement of elements so that we can easily remember, memorize the elements, their compounds, their properties by knowing that arrangement. But it is indeed a difficult problem, difficult to learn the position of each element on a graph. So this, though the graph is good, right, doesn't have many drawbacks, but it doesn't solve the purpose. Because it is very difficult to memorize the coordinates of, each element in the graph. Right? So that was the major, you can say the limitation of Luther Meyer curve. When Luther Meyer was drawing the curve, there's a big famous scientist. I'm sure you have heard about him, Mendeleev. He was arranging elements in a very good manner. Right? There was another arrangement, Chen-Cotius. He gave the helical structure, arranged the elements according to helix, right, cylindrical form, according to their properties. But that was also not very much, viable to use. So, as I told you, when Luther Meyer was giving his curve, this Luther Meyer's curve, there is another scientist, Mendeleev, Dmitry Mendeleev, indeed, genius scientist, I will say, of his time, right? So, who had a very tragic story, guys, like very traumatic or tragic childhood. He made promise to his dying mother that he'll do something good in the field of science. So indeed he fulfilled his promise, Dmitry Mendeleev. So Mendeleev arranged all the elements according to their increasing atomic masses. And what did he observe? Mendeleev observed when the elements are arranged according to their increasing atomic masses, physical and chemical properties of elements are the periodic function of their atomic masses. That means after regular interval, the properties of elements, they show similarity, the physical and chemical properties. This is Mendeleev's periodic law. Physical and chemical properties of an element are the periodic function of their atomic masses. Periodic means which repeats after certain interval, right? So he arranged elements, Mendeleev arranged elements according to the increasing atomic masses. When Mendeleev arranged elements, at that time 63 elements were known, right? So he made this arrangement, this kind of table he made. So you can say Mendeleev was the first person who used the term table. So this is Mendeleev's periodic table, where he arranged elements, right? So you can see in his table there are vertical columns, we call them groups, and there are horizontal rows, we can call them period. So in Mendeleev's periodic table we have 7 periods, 7 horizontal rows of elements, and basically 8 groups initially, 8 groups, right? From 1 to 7, each group is divided into subgroup A and B, and the 8th group is divided into 3 subgroups A, B and C. Later on, another group, 0 group, is added by Ramsay and Rayleigh when the noble gases were discovered. So later on, when the noble gases, inert gases were discovered, helium, neon, argon, krypton, radon, they were placed in a separate group. Another group, 0 group, was introduced in his periodic table, right? So you can see the periodic table. You should know how many periods, how many groups are there in Mendeleev's periodic table. You can see here, guys, 1 to 8, right? Up to 1 to 7, there are subgroups A, B, A, B, A, B. And in this, you can see the 3, A, B, C, right? Yes. So according to him, when the elements are arranged like this, according to increasing atomic masses, after certain interval, their properties show repetition, right? So you should definitely know Mendeleev's periodic table. You can have a look again, guys. You can see the elements with similarity in property, they are placed together in a group. Yes. So you can see the formulas, the elements of the same group, belonging to the same group, they have similar formula, general formula for their oxides and hydrides, right? You can see here, guys, how they are combining with oxygen and hydrogen, what compound they are forming. So at that time when he gave his periodic table, Mendeleev 63 elements he arranged, right? Okay. So there were many good things in Mendeleev's periodic table. First of all, he predicted certain elements. He left some position in his periodic table and he said there will be some elements which will be discovered later on which have similar properties, right? For example, he left the spaces aluminium, right? So these are the elements which was discovered later on. Scandium, germanium, gallium. He left a space for germanium which has a similar property that of silicon. He left a space for gallium having similar property of aluminium. So that time these elements were not known. So basically on the basis of his arrangement, the study, the behavior, he predicted the discovery of certain elements which was indeed later on discovered as he told. Right? So he said there must be some element having the similar property of that of aluminium which should be placed like here. There has to be certain element which is not discovered yet having similarity in property like silicon and it should be placed here. Right? So these are the Eka aluminium, Eka silicon, the elements were predicted. He predicted the discovery of certain elements. Second good thing is he even corrected the atomic weights of certain elements. For example, beryllium. Beryllium, its earlier atomic weight was considered as 13.5, but he corrected it as 9, right? Because he thought the position of beryllium should be in between lithium and boron. That means beryllium should have more atomic mass than lithium but less than boron, right? Because the property of beryllium is matching group 2, magnesium, calcium. So it should be placed with them. So he corrected the atomic masses of certain Valensian atomic masses of certain elements on the just basis of his periodic table. right? Yes, so determination and correction of doubtful atomic weights and atomic masses. Now, there were certain demerits also in his periodic table, like the position of hydrogen. Hydrogen has similar property to that of alkali metals and also that of halogen. So where the hydrogen should be placed, it's still a controversial. So in his periodic table, he couldn't place, justify the position of hydrogen. Next, in some cases, he put those elements together which is not following the increasing atomic mass rule. So he made some anomalous pairs, randomly, putting two elements irrespective of their order of atomic masses, just because their properties are matching, right? And in some cases, two elements having similar properties, they are placed in different groups. So there are certain anomalous pairs which are not, as per the increasing atomic mass order or as per the similarity in properties. As his periodic table is based on atomic mass, and we know isotopes are the atoms of same element having different atomic masses. So according to this, each isotope of every element should get a different place in his periodic table, but that was not considered. So this was another drawback of Mendeleev's periodic table, right? Yes, and also position of lanthanides and actinides, which are presently F block elements, rare earth metals, heavy metals. So their position is also not justified, or they are not well placed in his periodic table, right? So as I told you, there are certain elements like coinage metals, right, which forms coin, copper, silver, gold. So they are placed with alkali metals, right? So there are certain anomalous or random abrupt pair where the properties are not matching or the atomic mass increasing order is not being followed. Yes, and when he was asked why there is a periodicity in property, why the elements belonging to one group, they have similar properties, what is the reason that the elements show similarity in properties after a certain interval, he could not explain that. So he couldn't give the reason behind the periodicity, repetition of properties in elements, right? So though till now it was the best arrangement, we'll say Mendeleev's periodic table, one of the best arrangement of elements, but still it has some drawbacks. So of course the Janta was not satisfied, they still look for a better arrangement of elements. And by the time there was a scientist Moseley, who was a physicist, he was doing his physics experiment, Henry Moseley. He also has a very tragic story, Henry Moseley. He died in World War I. So he was representing his country, and he died in that World War while fighting on the front, right? So he has, at very young age of 27, he died, Henry Moseley. But till then, he did a lot of work in the field of science and, physics, that even he died. Still, the Nobel Prize of that year was not given to anyone, because it was, considered that if he was alive, he was the best candidate, he was the best person to receive that Nobel Prize in physics, right? So he died at such a young age, Henry Moseley, in World War, but representing his country, fighting for his country. But till the time he lived, he did a lot of contribution. He gave a lot of contribution to the world of physics and science. So Henry Moseley was doing his experiment based on X-ray diffraction. He was studying the X-ray diffraction, right? How the X-rays are being diffracted by elements. And while doing his physics experiment, he figured out the fundamental property of an element is atomic number, not the atomic mass. Till now, all the arrangements from Daubeney, Newland, everyone arranged element according to their atomic masses. But Moseley observed the properties of element depends upon the atomic number of element, not their atomic masses. That is the fundamental, right? So, of course, Henry Moseley, right, thought what these chemists are doing, they are arranging the elements on the basis of their atomic masses, whereas atomic number is the main property that they should consider, right? So he arranged elements according to their increasing atomic number, and he found out that the physical and the chemical properties of element are the periodic function of their atomic numbers, It is atomic number, not atomic mass. This was atomic number, right? That means if the elements are arranged according to their increasing atomic numbers, right? Increasing atomic numbers, they show repetition, periodicity in the properties, right? Yes, so he arranged elements in according to the increasing atomic numbers, and he gave a beautiful table, right, which is known as modern periodic table. So this is that beautiful table, and I'm sure all of you must have seen this table, right? You must have this pasted in your room, right in front of your study desk, door, wherever you sit. Please, if you haven't, pasted it yet, make sure that you pasted it, right? It should be right in front of every chemistry student. Periodic table, where the elements are arranged beautifully in the form of table. Henry Moseley give this periodic table, guys. Yes, so it has 18 vertical columns, we call them groups. 7 horizontal rows of elements, we call them periods, and it has 4 blocks also, right? So this is group 1 and 2, this is S block. Group 3 till group, this is D block 12. Group 13, group this is P block. And there are 2 series, lanthanide series and actinide series, which are placed behind, this is F block, right? So modern periodic table, in which the elements are arranged according to the increasing atomic numbers, right? It has 18 groups, 7 periods, 4 blocks. So this is the arrangement that we use till date. All of you should know, you should remember the elements, because the elements belonging to the same group, they have similar properties, right? If you know that potassium and sodium belong to the same group, that means they have similar properties. They will show similar kind of reaction, similar kind of behavior, right? So this is the arrangement, the final arrangement. Let me tell you an interesting story behind. So once Henry Moseley, we'll talk about this modern periodic table given by Henry Moseley in detail, right? When the Henry Moseley gave his periodic table, this modern periodic table, you can say the ego of all the chemists, it got hurt, right? So they got hurt because the physicist gave the modern periodic table, the table that they were looking for quite so long, right? So what they did, they gave another periodic table, the similar one, exactly the replica, you can say, and they name it long form of periodic table, and they say we arrange this periodic table according to the electronic configuration. So 1s1, 1s2 element, then 1s2, 2s1. So you all know increasing atomic number or increasing way of electron filling, they are same. Atomic number 1 means 1 electron, atomic number 2 means 2 electron. So just to save their grace, so Bohr, Bury, Abbott, they all came up with a new periodic table that is known as long form of periodic table, which is exactly the same as Henry Moseley gave, right? Yes, but they said we arrange elements according to the electronic configuration, right? So guys, you should all know the periodic table, the modern periodic table. You should learn S and P block group wise. You should know the first group element, lithium, potassium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, right? So S and P block should be learned. The elements should be learned according to group. And D block, transition elements also we call them, it should be learned series wise, right? Period wise. And same is the case with F block elements, in which we have 2 series. One is lanthanide, another is actinides, right? Yes. So lanthanides, you can see lanthanides after lanthanum. Lanthanum is atomic number 57. You can see the 14 elements are missing here. So they are placed here. 58 till atomic number 71, they are placed below. Similarly, 14 elements after actinium, they are placed here. And they are known as actinides. Elements following actinium, actinides. Element following lanthanum, lanthanides. So these are lanthanides, 14 elements, these are actinides, and these 2 series, they have different kind of properties, different kind of behavior, rest of the elements. So that is why they are placed separately. They are known as F block, right? So we'll talk about modern periodic table in detail, right? in the next session, but Henry Moseley, on the basis of its, X-ray diffraction experiment, came up with this beautiful table, modern periodic table, which is the base of the arrangement of elements, guys, right? Yes. So in the next class, I'll start with the modern periodic table and then we'll move ahead. But before ending the session, let me quickly tell you a very small interesting thing, right? How to give the name to element if the element has atomic number more than 100. So initially the name was given on the basis of the scientist who discovered the element, the origin, the country origin and all that, right? But then IUPAC made rule, because there are so many scientists from different origins, different countries, they are involved in the discovery of certain element nowadays. So IUPAC, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, IUPAC made a rule that, okay, I'm giving the rules, according to rules only you will, give the IUPAC to the name to the element. So you can see, very interesting. So 100, you just need to know the atomic number, you can give the name, and this very easy simple rule. For 0 we use nil, for 1 we use un, for 2 bi, 3 tri, 4 quad, 5 pent, 6 hex, 7 sept, 8 oct, 9 n, right? And these are the abbreviations. So for example, if the atomic number of element is 103, so for 1 we'll write un, right? For 0 we'll write nil, for 3 we write tri. So I'll write the un, nil, tri, 103 and IUM. Un, nil, trium in the end. For example, I have 117. So what will be the name of this element? Un, 1. Again un. Sept, for 7 we use sept. IUM in the end. Unseptium. And the symbol is, first will be capital U, N small, T small. Here symbol of this element U capital, un again U and then sept. First will be a capital letter followed by small letters, right? Interesting, guys? Yes. So the name of element with atomic number, this is the atomic number, 103 is un, nil, trium. Let me ask you more. For example, in future an element with atomic number 420 is discovered. What will be its name? So for 4 we use quad. For 2 we use bi, for 0 we use nil. Quad bi nil end me IUM. So it will be quad binilium. So the symbol is QBN. Right? Yes. Okay, let's take more examples. Suppose I have 109, right? Or let's say I have 199, element with atomic number 119 in future if it is discovered. So we already know the name. For 1 we use un, n, again n, for, right? IUM. Unennium. UEE will be its symbol. Unennium. Un for 1, N for 9, N for 9, IU, right? So indeed an interesting thing to learn, to know the IUPAC name. If you know these simple, pretty interesting rules, you can name any element having atomic number 100 and more, right? And you know the symbol also. So if you see the periodic table, in some periodic table for elements having more atomic number, there this IUPAC name is used, right, guys? Yes. So I hope this is clear to every one of you. Do not forget to write IUM in the end. Yes. Got it, guys? So you can see the examples here. Though I have given you enough examples so that you can. So 583, pent, oct, trium, pot. 385, tri, oct, pentium, top is the symbol, right? T for tri, O for oct, P for pent. So modern periodic table, guys, will be continuing with modern periodic table, and we'll learn what this modern periodic table, what this arrangement tells us about the periodic property, and what is the reason why the elements of the same group, they show similar properties, right? Okay, so this B2A series, which is basic to advanced series in English, that is going on this channel, but make sure that you are subscriber of Vedantu Science Olympiad channel. There's another channel, because we'll be continuing this series on this channel from 13th May onwards. So do not forget to subscribe that channel because this series is indeed going to help you cover your entire syllabus for NSE just 2025. Right? Do not forget to subscribe the channel, guys. Bye. Take care. God bless you all. पढ़ते रहो, बढ़ते रहो, मचाते रहो, देश को गोल्ड जिताते रहो. Keep learning, keep growing. See you in the next session.